here? Okay. And my team just good? Okay.
Oh, wait, one second. Did I already speak again?
I'm sorry, check 1, 2, 3, check 1, 2, 3.
Do it one more time.
Check 1, 2, 3, check 1, 2, 3.
Not getting hit, so.
Could it be that you're monitored?
Oh, yes, this is national. I thought you were right.
Check 1, 2, 3, check 1, 2, 3. Absolutely. Is everybody else ready? Good afternoon. My name is Nikki Fried. I am Florida's Commissioner of Agriculture and gubernatorial candidate. I'm also the first Jewish female to have ever held statewide here in the state of Florida. But I'm not standing here today with my titles. I'm standing here as a member of the Jewish community. In 1994, I went on a mission called March to the Living, which we spent 1 week in Israel and 1 week in Poland, where tens of thousands of Jewish teenagers traveled to Poland to bear witness of the atrocities of the Holocaust. In order to come back and to teach what we saw and to educate people on the Holocaust can never happen again. And I'm going to read you the pledge that I took in 1994. We pledge to keep alive the honor and the legacy of the multitudes of our people who have perished in the Holocaust. We pledge to fight anti-Semitism, anti-Zionism, Holocaust denial, and all other forms of hatred directed towards the Jewish people and Israel. We pledge to fight every form of discrimination manifested against any religion, nationality, or ethnic group. We pledge to actively participate in the strengthening of Jewish life in the diaspora and in Israel. We pledge to increase our knowledge of our Jewish heritage and to pass on the love of Jewish life in learning of the next generation. We pledge to give tzedakah, to assist in helping the needy whenever we may need in the world. We pledge ourselves to be involved in Tikkun Olam, to build a better world for any member of human family. And the Shoah that promises of never again was proclaimed. We pledge to create a world where never again will become a reality for the Jewish people and indeed for all people. That is a pledge that I gave in 1994, to always stand up against anti-Semitism, to stand up against hate and racism. And it is so heartbreaking that in 2022, I have to stand here again to reaffirm that pledge. And over the last few years, we have seen the rise of anti-Semitism and hatred and hate towards our LGBTQ plus community. We have seen the rise of neo-Nazis and white supremacists. 2 weeks ago, I was at a gubernatorial forum where I was vocally harassed by a member of the Proud Boys for doing my job and suspending 35 licenses of individuals who were involved in the January 6th insurrection. We have seen this increase all across our state and all across our entire country. This past week, our governor sent out an email declaring that there is enemies within us, within our state. Ron is asking for a war when he is declaring that there is enemies here. We must come together and unite. We should be fighting for democracy, not fighting our fellow man and our fellow countryman. In the words of Abraham Lincoln, with malice towards none, with charity for all. The fact that yesterday, neo-Nazis were here at this convention center in Tampa, Florida, talking hate, holding neo-Nazi flags with swastikas, We have seen all across our state neo-Nazis protesting in Orlando, sending rhetoric, hate rhetoric, and flyers all across South Florida. We are seeing swastikas painted on garage doors of homes in Fort Lauderdale and on temples and Holocaust museums. Our country is divided. We as leaders must come together and push down that hate. We may all disagree on policies, but if we as leaders don't denounce neo-Nazis and white supremacists in our state, in our country, what are we doing here? So to every neo-Nazi that stood on these streets yesterday, the cowards that put masks on their face and flung the flag for the Nazis, we will not tolerate this. We will not stand silent. You will not silence our voices. We will not go away. We will speak louder. We will organize. We will make sure that your hate speech will not be heard. Now I am asking for every elected official. I don't care if you're Republican, I don't care if you're a Democrat, I don't care if you're independent. This is a time to say no. We are not going to stand for hate and anti-Semitism and racism. And so I am asking you, Ron DeSantis, to denounce the Nazis that were here to celebrate your speech inside of this convention center. They were holding your pictures yesterday.
The ones you paid?
These are the individuals
The ones you paid?
that we need to make sure are not here in the state of Florida. So Ron, you are the leader of 22 million individuals, the third largest Jewish population in the country. We need to stand united. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is a human issue. I will never be silent, and neither should you. Thank you for being here today. We will never stand silent. We will speak up. This kind of action, these kinds of words are to be condemned. Thank you. And I'll take any questions.
Why would anybody think it's okay to hold up a Nazi flag in today's society?
Why are they think it's acceptable? Because you're not hearing from leaders. You're not hearing from Ron DeSantis or Donald Trump saying this is unacceptable. And so they feel like created a safe harbor for them here in our state. And the fact is they were outside here yesterday when Ron and Trump and others of the radical right were talking. Where are our leaders today? Where are they saying that this is not okay? And when you stand silent and you say nothing, it emboldens and empowers them, which is why I'm here today, standing up for what we believe in. Listen, we're Americans. We have to fight for America, for our democracy, not our fellow man. And this type of hate speech has to be condemned by all leaders in our country.
Jewish community that I've spoken to are just kind of sickened by just seeing the photos. You know, how does it make you feel when, like, you saw the photos?
What it made me feel yesterday, and not just yesterday, we are seeing it in South Florida. We are seeing it in Claremont. We saw the neo-Nazi flags in Orlando outside of Disney. And it's time for everybody, regardless if you're Jewish or you're Muslim or you're Christian or any other religion, for us to come together. And so what this does to me personally, because this has been a fight that I have been enduring my entire life and trained for this moment, is that I knew I couldn't stand by silent, that I had to be here today to condemn this, to make sure that the Floridians know that there's somebody who's going to always stand up for them, who is always going to fight this anti-Semitism, the white supremacy that is starting to creep through our government and the people of our state, and we cannot tolerate that.
Nikki, what do you say to the people? Tomorrow is the last day to register to vote for the Florida primaries. So what do you say to people?
Listen, we are at trying times in our country and in our state. And if you want to make a difference, if you want to make sure this type of hatred ends, then we need people to register. register to vote. We have closed primaries here in Florida, so it means if you are an independent, you cannot vote in our primaries. So if you have inclined to go and vote for a Democrat or Republican, make sure by tomorrow evening that you are registered to vote and that you've declared a party.
It's important no matter what party you are, right?
That is correct. Voting is the crux of who we are as a democracy. It needs to be protected, it needs to be celebrated, it needs to be encouraged, and that's what I will continue to do. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.